All right, friends, how are you today? Aaron, back here somewhere. Mercury retrograde has hit me hard today. For some reason, the video stopped working, internet stopped working, the audio on this stopped working. But we're pushing through here. So I don't have video for my beautiful face, but you get to see the chart and hear what's going on. So it's all going to work out, right? So, this is a beautiful representation of the Mercury retrograde. What does it mean? It means I'm going to have to spend some time on figuring out what's going on with the video. Slow it down, not rush ahead. I'm kind of pushing ahead at this moment to get this out because it's important, But yeah, slowing down and taking the time to get whatever done that we have to get done. So, what is going on today? It seems like, the moon's been in Cancer for 3 days, although it's only a 2.5-day transit. But it was here Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, and the good chunk of Sunday, the moon is going to be in Cancer. And whenever we have the moon home in Cancer, it's all about the feels, right? And the moon was a perfect trine over to Mercury on Saturday, right? When we're aligning our thoughts with our heart, with our feels, is when we can really manifest things into reality. And now we're continuing this, right? It's kind of it's been a 3-day journey for this happening. Now Mercury is still creating that trine to the North Node here, still retrograde, still continuing to move backward, tightening up that connection. Okay, North Node is again our compass, telling us where we all need to focus our energy, less on our big business and money-making schemes and more toward being a compassionate, good-hearted human being. Now, the moon here, telling us to be sensitive and caring in our nurturing abilities, is creating a perfect trine. Let me bring this back a couple hours here. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Around 8 a.m., perfect trine to the sun. So when a lot of people are getting up and getting going in the morning, right? This is about our shadow. All about our shadow. And we don't want to, again, with this retrograde, we don't want to rush this process. We don't want to just take a look at it and then jump ahead. There's a lot to learn in our own shadow. Again, we have to live with ourselves every single day. It's good to go into our own personal pain. It's good to go into our traumas. We have to heal these things. If not for this lifetime, my goodness, do it for our next lifetime, Yeah, whoever believes in that kind of a thing, there's like that we karmically bring whatever traumas or quantum entanglements with us into the next life, into the future, if we don't resolve these issues now, right? So the moon's saying, look, there's some, there's some deep emotions going on here. And there's some shadow work that we seriously need to highlight. Now, this is the last time the moon is going to create this trine to the sun this year in the water signs, okay? This is the last time that we get to experience this shadow work, okay, while Mercury is still retrograde, because the moon's going to move ahead this week, the sun's going to move out into Sagittarius, and then Mercury is going to end its retrograde. And then Mercury and Mars are still going to be back here, still working on our shadow, which is really a positive thing for 2019, okay? To further our expansion, we have to deal with the shadow side of life. We have to deal with our darkness. And that's an area where a lot of people don't want to go. We have to deal with the unknown. We have to deal with the possibility that we're absolutely wrong on our ideologies, on the things that govern our lives. These principles, these building blocks that we've built up here, that we want to govern, that govern us, that we say, this is how the world is, this is how life is, this is right, this is wrong, this, it's like, man, there is a lot of unknown. There is a lot of unknown, and I think it's kind of fun, when we look at, the story of Persephone and the mythology behind Scorpio and Mercury, right? I've talked about this in the past, that Pluto or Hades came up to the surface and took Persephone, who was, created all this beauty, that created the beauty between springtime and summertime. And she was one of the muses, and then brought her to the underworld, right? And then Mercury struck a deal with Pluto and said, okay, we can split the time half and half. Persephone can come to, the north side. Now again, this is all flipped upside down because of how we perceive it. So this is the north, this is the south, this is the west, this is the east, because again, we're looking up at the sky. Anyway, so, Persephone can come up to the north, up to the top, and grant you with beautiful flowers and fruit and all that good stuff. And then for the second half of the year, she's mine, where we go to the underworld. And it's like, when we really look at this, our ancestors, the ancients, had no idea what the heck was going on the other side of the world. They just didn't know. When the sun set every night, the battle between Set and Ra, darkness and light and good and evil. It's like these are all personifications. The sun, we all know now, the sun just went to the other side of the world. It didn't die. It just lit up Australia and and Japan and wherever else is going on. So that's kind of what's happening right now. We're just deepening our understanding that some of these old stories that were shared were based on limited knowledge. Okay, so is there something in ourselves, in our own hearts, that's been limited knowledge that we feel so deeply on? Okay, now as we see here, this quincunx, this fun and annoying green line here, okay, that's like someone in your blind spot. They're not quite in your mirror. You don't see them out your side of your window of the car, but if you move too quickly, you're gonna smash into them. All right, so these quincunxes, the 5/12 aspects in astrology, it's that kind of annoying because we can't quite see it like an opposition. We can't quite feel it like a square. It's not a formidable, positive, flowing aspect like a trine, okay? It's just kind of there, nagging us. Like, hey, this is about our personal expansion, to expand our own minds, to get out of our limited knowledge, right? Our limited knowledge is holding us back. It's limiting us, right? And we are creating greater discipline in our lives, and we are learning to expand our mind. Okay, very, very, very important right now. This is about our expansion. So we absolutely have to go into our own shadows. We have to open up our hurt. We have to open up our pain. We have to kind of decipher, this was all meant for a reason. Whoever you were hurt by, you manifested into your life. Whoever you hurt, you manifested into your life. A good friend of mine, someone I worked with a long time ago, Mallory Brown, a really beautiful person doing a lot of positive things in the world. She recently talked about how one of her teachers told her she had an annoying voice and no one wants to hear her talk, and it's terrible. And what this girl has done with her voice is something so beautiful. I mean, she's not a singer, but I mean, the way that she reaches out to the world and can communicate and bring people together and inspire joy and whatnot, and I had a very similar experience with a choir teacher when I was in elementary school that told me that my voice was no good to sing. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago with some beautiful, I'm going to show you, with some beautiful medicine, okay? Some beautiful medicine, that I was able to find my own voice. And since then, I've been able to sing as well. And people have told me how lovely my speaking voice is or my singing voice is. But I lived for years and years and years hating it or not singing, holding myself back because of what somebody else had told me. And Mallory and I shared this kind of together. And I opened up and told her about my experience, and she talked about hers. And when she said, "I'm sorry that happened to you, Aaron," and I said, "You know what? I wouldn't have had it any other way." Because I learned so much in that, right? And through that limiting behavior, that limiting thought, that my voice was no good, not beautiful to sing or to whatever, and I held myself back. I closed it off. These water signs, they freeze over, they close off, these water signs, right? So I held back, closed it off. And then when, after this, some beautiful plant medicine, I had found peace in that trauma that I experienced as a young child. And sang for the very first time, and people literally walked up to me and said, "Wow, you have a really powerful voice." It was a really beautiful experience, but it's like I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. And now what I'm able to do with this voice is help inspire other people and find in them ways to empower them. You know what I mean? Where I was not empowered, a lack of empowerment. So this is a personal experience I'm sharing with you, but we all have something similar. We all have something along the lines where some teacher, some lover, some friend has just told us that something about us is just no good or not worthy or whatever it is, and it created hurt, pain, trauma. And it's really important that we deal with this stuff, that we bring this stuff up. We bring these emotions to the surface, because look what's going to happen later in the day, okay? We're going to get a spark back of what happened in August when we had all of this beautiful energy, the sun, the moon. I think we had Mars and Venus. Mars was ahead in Virgo. Okay, so we had Mercury, Venus, the sun, and the moon. So we had 4. We still had a stellium here in Leo, which was igniting our passion, our voice, right? This is our creative self-expression. So around 5 o'clock this Sunday, we find our voice. We get that surge of excellence, that surge of leadership role that we all have deep within us. And we can conquer our demons. I'm doing air quotes right now. These demons, these are our own personal projections, okay? These are self-limiting beliefs. All right, so we're dealing with our shadow today. We want to continue working with our shadow this week, because then the sun's going to move into Sagittarius, where we're going to learn more. We're going to learn to expand. We're going to gain more knowledge. But before we do that, we have to deal with the past. We have to deal with this old trauma. And we are still dealing with other people. And you see, other people here is the crux of our expansion, of our unconscious mind. All right? Now, so much is connecting to Neptune right now. We have Neptune connecting to the North Node. We have Neptune sesqui-square to the Moon, okay? That sesqui-square, again, is about balance. We have to step into our leadership roles. We are all leaders. We are all heroes of our journey, right? We have Neptune sextile to Saturn, the most beautiful aspect that we're going to see in our lifetime. All right, resetting the bar, resetting our personal beliefs, the giant reset. This is such a beautiful connection. Then we have Neptune square to Venus, okay? Venus wants to love and wants to open up and wants, in here in Sagittarius is about our personal expansion of our conscious mind. This is our unconscious mind. So there is a balance, our spiritual self and our physical self. Then we have Neptune creating the trine to Mercury, okay? Deepening our thoughts. Neptune creating the sesqui-square to Mars. Our expansion deals with other people. All right, so everything is dealing with our expansion today. And dealing with, I mean, as you see, everything is connected. Everything is touching something right now. Nothing is being left out of this mix. There is no planet being unaspected. Okay, so we are feeling it, feeling it, feeling it, and to, you know, again, to slow down and deal with this stuff. To make sure that we're covering our bases. Make sure that we're not. Let me put it like this. It's the fine details. You know, God is in the details, they say. It's the fine details. It's that fall cleaning, and make sure we're getting, you know, in the cracks of things. We don't want to leave anything out. We don't want to say, yeah, I've healed and move on. I'm ready to be a leader. You know, we really want to take advantage of this time this morning in the afternoon of dealing with our emotions and not running away from ourselves, being present. And when we're present, when we show up, and our presence is what leads to our expansion. And when we expand our conscious mind, when we expand our thoughts, that's when that disappears, okay, and we step into our leadership roles. All right, it's another beautiful day. Every day is a beautiful day because it's about perspective. You know, we have bad moments, or we have hard moments. We don't have bad days or lifetimes or months. It's all a perspective, you know, and that's part of that perspective is our limiting beliefs. So it's time to expand our beliefs to being more, to living fully in our potential. All right, I'm going to work on this video, make sure we get it up and running for Monday. Until then, have a happy Sunday, my friends, and we will see you tomorrow.